I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on perfect verb tenses. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English Language Arts. We're doing grade 6. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to our chapter of perfect verb tense. All right. So our chapter is perfect verb tenses. Our subject is English Language Arts. We're doing grade 6. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of perfect verb tenses, it's to use perfect verb tenses and to form the perfect verb tenses. All right. We said once again that we are doing perfect verb tenses, and the lessons is use the perfect verb tense and to form perfect verb tenses. So when it comes to verb tenses, right? Remember when we usually break down the words. And we said verb is an action, it's a doing thing, it's a doing word, right? It's an action that is being done. Tenses will either tell us it is in the present, in the past, or it's in the future. That is tenses. So already if we say verb tenses, and then it is the action that is being done either in the present, in the past, or in the future. But now today we're doing perfect verb tenses. All right. So when it comes to perfect verb tenses, right, we see the perfect tense, it usually describes a completed action, So perfect tense, it describes a completed action and it tells us about something that has had or will ever happen or will have will have happened. Sorry, just a play on my tongue. So the perfect tense, once again, it describes a completed action and it tells about something that has had or will have happened. And remember, we mentioned tenses are always present tense, past tense, and future tense. And if we want to make mention of the present tense, it says the present perfect tense tells us about something that has happened or has started already. So it has happened or has started already. And if we look at an example of the present perfect tense, it tells us about something that has happened or has started already. An example is it uses it uses the helping verb has or have, and we in a sentence says the airplane has arrived at the gate already. So the airplane has arrived at the gate already. So there we have has happened. The plane has arrived at the gate already. And if we look at another example, it says John and Erica, it's two people, have played the violin for 5 years. Has singular, have plural. And the past perfect tense. Once again, tenses tells us about the present, past, and future. Then we have the past perfect tense. And the past perfect tense, it tells us about something that had happened before something else. It had happened before something else. And it uses the helping verb had. It uses the helping verb had. And an example is we had finished dinner by the time Tim arrived. And we see that we had finished dinner by the time Tim arrived. Had, because now it means that it is in the past. We finished already. We had finished dinner. Then lastly, we have the future tense. And a future perfect tense, it tells us about something that will have happened. Usually, when we talk about the future, we use the word will. Will gives us an indication that this is in the future. So, the future perfect tense, it tells about something that will have happened by a certain point in the future. And it uses the helping verb will have. And if we look at an example, it says the race will have started by noon tomorrow. So the race will have started by noon tomorrow. All right. So once again, we have our perfect verb tenses, and it tells us about the present, the past, and the future, right? We see that with the present tense, it tells about something that has happened or has started. In the past, we're talking about past perfect tense, tells about something that had happened before something else, and it uses the helping verb had. All right. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca, where we are going to focus on perfect verb tenses. We're going to use the perfect verb tense, right? And we said that there are certain words that we use, either helping verbs or so on, in order to show the specific tenses, right? Now it says we need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb. It says, before she let him hold the baby, Mrs. Burke checked to make sure Ronald washed his hands. And if we were to choose the correct word, we'll say, before she let him go, before she let him hold the baby, Mrs. Birkin checked to make sure Ronald had washed his hands. Had washed his hands. I've noticed that my brother tried to be more outgoing at the last few parties we've been to. All right. So now it says, I've noticed that my brother Do we say my brother has, or do we say my brother have tried to be more outgoing at the last few parties we've been to? So we can then say that I checked that my brother, he had been trying to be more outgoing at the last few parties this that they've been to. Had. Oh, has, not had, but has. And then this is our future perfect tense where we say, at the rate you are moving, the bus will have left by the time you even get dressed. So which means that we need to use our perfect verb tenses, whether it is has or had or have or will have. We need to use it, right, in order to show our perfect verb tense. All right, let's quickly go to our test. We need to complete the sentence with the correct helping verb or verbs. All right. So once again, we said we are recording the president's speech because it, do we say it will have ended by the time we got home, or it has ended by the time we got home? Which one is correct? Has ended or will have ended by the time we get home? All right. So we say we are recording the president's speech because it will have ended by the time we get home. Will have, because remember they recording it now because will have, it will be ending or ended or end by the time they get home. So that shows the future. Our backgate. Do we say our backgate will have rusted and now it squeaks loudly whenever it moves? Or do we say our backgate has rusted and now it squeaks loudly whenever it moves? All right, so we said our bucket has rusted and now it squeaks loudly whenever it moves. It has rusted. All right. All right. So by the time the water cools down enough to drink, the tea will have steeped or had steeped. Which one is correct? Will have steeped or had steeped. Which one is correct? All right. So by the time the water cools down enough to drink, the tea. Do we say the tea will have steeped or do we say the tea had steeped? All right. So we say by the time the water cools down enough to drink, the tea will have steeped, meaning it would have, by that time, it would be colder. Brooke never responded to my text message because she, do we say she has misplaced her phone the day before, or do we say she had misplaced her phone the day before? All right, and if we were to choose the correct option, she had misplaced a phone the day before. Well done. Brian, do we say Brian has responded to my email or Brian will have responded to my email, but I'm still waiting to hear from Alice. So do we say Brian has or Brian will have? Option one or option two? Has or will have? So Brian, once again, do we say Brian has responded to my email? Or Brian will have, but I'm still waiting to hear from Alice. So we can say Brian has responded to my email. He already did it. Has. All right. The TV show. Do we say will have ended by the time you arrive? Or the TV show has ended by the time you arrive? Which one is correct? Option one or option two? Will have ended by the time you arrive, or what has ended by the time you arrive? Which one is correct? All right, so we see that the TV show will have ended by the time you arrive, because the thing, you're not there yet. So by the time you come, it will have ended, right? Will have ended. All right, so now we're going to form the perfect verb tenses, right? Once again, tenses: present tense, past tense, future tense. And present, the perfect tense usually describe completed action. It tells about something that has had or will have happened. And in order for us to form the perfect tense, we need to use a form of the helping verb to have with the past participle of the main verb. And for most verbs, the past participle is the same as the past tense form. And then we have the present perfect tense. It tells us about something that has happened and has started already. And it uses a present tense form of the helping verb to have, has or have. All right. And if we look at an example, right, before we only said activity, before we go to our test, it says, our neighbor planted rose bushes in the front yard. We need to complete the sentence with the present tense form. So our neighbors plant rose bushes in the front yard. And if we were to choose the correct option, remember we said we are here by the present tense form. Then we can say our neighbors have planted. So we can say have planted. Rose bushes in their front yard. Have planted. That is the is have planted. Diego signed the contract already. So Diego signed the contract already. We need to use the present perfect tense. So we now need to complete the sentence with the perfect or the present perfect form of the verb. Present perfect. All right, and if we were to choose our correct option, present perfect tense, we will say Diego. Do we say has signed or have signed the contract? So it either has signed or have signed the contract. But if we are referring to one person doing something, one person in the present tense, then we say has. So has signed the contract. Diego has signed the contract already. Has and signed, and we just added an ed over there. All right. So now we're going on to our test where we are going to form the perfect verb tenses. And remember, we said that when it comes to perfect verb tenses, right, we have perfect verb tenses in the present, past, and in the future. And the perfect verb tense, it describes a completed action. It tells us that something has, had, or will have happened, right? In order for us to form the perfect tense, we need to use the form of the helping verb to have with a participle in the main verb, right? So when it comes to the present perfect tense, it tells us about something that has happened or has started, and it's basically it uses a present tense form of the helping verb, either to have, which is has, or have. So if we're referring to one person doing something, we say has, more than one person have. All right. So now we're going on to our test, where we are going to form the perfect verb tense. And we need to complete the sentence with the future perfect form of the verb. Future perfect form. It says, Alvin finished chapter 3 by tomorrow. We need to choose the future perfect form. Is it option 1, Alvin finish chapter 3 by tomorrow, or option 2, Alvin will have finished chapter 3 by tomorrow? We need to choose the correct one. Option 1 or option 2? And if we would choose the future tense, we will say Alvin will have finished chapter 3 by tomorrow. Yes, will have, which is option 2. The candles burn out by tomorrow morning. We need to choose the future perfect tense. The candles burn out by tomorrow morning. Do we say the candles burn by tomorrow morning, or do we say will have burned out by tomorrow morning? Which one is correct? And we can say that the candles will have burned out by tomorrow morning, because we are talking about the future tense. All right, the diner replaced its old chairs with bright new ones. The diner replaced its old chairs with bright new ones. We need to choose the correct option. All right, and we now say the diner replace old chairs with bright new ones, or we can say the diner has replaced the old chairs with bright new ones. They have. Well done. Option 2 is correct. We need to use the past perfect tense. It says Rachel's new shoes. Do we say rub against her feet, causing blisters? Or do we say Rachel's new shoes had rubbed against her feet, causing blisters? Which one is correct? Option 1, rub, or option 2, had rubbed? All right, so we can say Rachel's new shoes had rubbed. Option 2, against her feet. So had rubbed. Option 2, against her feet. The next one says Brenna paint her bedroom a lovely blue color. We need to choose the present perfect. So Brenna paint her bedroom a lovely blue color. Is it option 1, paint, or has painted? Option 2. All right, so we can say Brenna has painted her bedroom a lovely blue color. All right, let's go to the next one. The present perfect form of the verb. It says brown tree snakes adapt to the environment in, is it Guam? Adapt. Is it option 1, they just adapt, or they have adapted? We are talking about the present perfect tense. And if we were to choose the correct one, we will do option 2. They have adapted. All right, let's do the last one. It says the editor suggests a new title for the novel. A new title. Is it option 1, the editor suggests a new title for the novel, or option 2, the editor has suggested a new title for the novel? We need to select the present perfect tense. Which one is correct? And if we were to select this, the perfect tense, we will say the editor has suggested a new title for the novel. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on perfect verb tenses. We will continue in our next lesson where we will choose between the past tense as well as the past participle. And we see the past participle can also just be like the past tense or similar. All right, so this is the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, grade sixes, for joining the class, and I really hope you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.